Okay, Sister Ayanna, you're muted.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that the meeting was going to be recorded tonight. And, and as I shared, it wasn't clear that this is the Nana Quele. Is that how you pronounce it?
Anokwale, but you can call me just Nana, but Anokwale.
Ale, thank you. Yeah, I last time Haki and I communicated about this, it was another sister he was sharing about. So it's nice to meet you.
Okay, so yes, so no, we have someone else, sister.
Okay.
So yes,
That's
that's right.
no. I think it's important to be clear though, because I think the other sister had a child or something like that. So my brain was just calibrated for something different. That's all. I'm being very transparent. My name is Ayanna. Thank you. I've been living at 2520 Oswego for I think it'll be 2 years in April. And I am here as the technical second artist living at Oswego. First was Sister Bobby Rush for a couple of months, and then I came in shortly after she was transitioning out. And I'm here because I was requested to be here and interested in what is all unfolding as we receive you or consider receiving you, Sister Nana. I'm glad and grateful that you are initiated trained um, priestess. So I'm glad to know that. And I'm here present. And just to be transparent as well, I am holding a lot at the moment. I just came back from South Carolina in support of an elder who had a passing. So I was at a homegoing ceremony this Monday, and then I literally just left the home of one of our local elders. I don't know if you know Baba Haki, and I think is him on the call. I'm not sure, but Mama Ujima just had a passing in one of her.
Yes, her daughter. We, yep,
I,
we were aware.
so I just
Thank
literally
you.
left. Yeah, no problem. I just literally left the house, so I'm just holding a lot, and all of this, all of these passings, happen impromptu. We don't know when people crossing over to the ancestor realm, and part of my training is in ancestor work. So I'm holding a whole lot in the moment. So I just want to be clear of my tenderness and my fullness. And so if I come off any kind of way, please know it's not intentional. I'm dealing with a lot. Having just returned early this morning. So I thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we talked to her as soon as it happened. My aunt, she called my aunt, so so they close. So but thank you. So Sister
And
Nana.
make sure you take care of yourself because being an empath like that, you take on a lot, and so you have to clean your spirit and make sure that you're okay. Because it is a lot. It's a lot.
Right. So Nana, tell us about yourself.
And I will just share just briefly as well. I was married for 20 years, and I just found out my former mother-in-law just transitioned today.
Wow.
And
Sorry to hear.
she had a very rough time. She's been sick for quite some time. So at least I know now she's not in pain any longer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just saw her in November for Thanksgiving.
Okay, so to get things started, if you just tell us things that you want us to know about you, and how you became a Nana and all of that good stuff.
All right, so I'm not a priestess. I was installed as Queen Mother of Abrim Isium, which is a village of about 1,000 or so people in the central region of Ghana. So February the 25th of last year, I was installed as Queen Mother. And the king, he heard about me because when I moved to Ghana in September 2020, I came with my nonprofit that I had in Baltimore, and I transferred it to the and made it an NGO in Ghana. And I had been doing things from the time I stepped foot on the continent for 6 months. Once a month I would take whoever would volunteer, and at one point it got to be my then fiance. Well, he technically still is my fiance. I traditionally got married January the 21st of last year. We had a traditional wedding, but we, when he does make it here, eventually then we'll legally get married. So, so he started coming with me once a month. So once a month, we would take a 2-hour trip each way to the secondary female prison and give them things that to make you feel like a human being. They don't, and a woman, they don't have commissary like we have here. And he was working as a teacher at an all-girls school, and my nonprofit is for young women, girls, like adolescents through womanhood. So I went to his school in hopes that I could set up an after-school program there. And immediately I saw the girls, they had latrines with holes in each latrine that, they would squat over and relieve themselves. So a few days of, supporters sending money, we put actually toilet bowls, things to clean the latrines with. And the only reason why I stopped making the trips to the secondary female prison was because the 6th time I went, I took one of my spiritual mothers with me at that particular trip. And the warden, the deputy warden, had asked me prior to that to bring like scrubbing brushes and what have you, and I refused to do that. So I'm not coming over a scrubbing brush. I mean, we were bringing things. So we're bringing vegetarian meals. We were bringing panties, sanitary pads, fruit, fresh fruit. That's what my spiritual mother brought that time. Water, like I'm getting water, because there they have it, and you may already know this. They call it sachets, like little bags. So happy just to have that for a change. And that came with, words of encouragement, even though out of all the things I've been doing over the years, whether in Baltimore or in Ghana, I got the most fulfillment with making those 2-hour trips each way and just spending 15 minutes with the ladies who are in cars, because just the energy and the appreciation. And I've been to prisons here, and here I'm saying in Baltimore or Maryland, in jail. Fortunately, my son has made me too familiar with the penal system. So it's a different feel. Because when I went to Baltimore's prisons or Maryland's prisons or jails, it was one of depression and heaviness. Whereas one in Ghana in secondary, I mean, I left there feeling like I accomplished something, and also what they poured in me. I got more from them than them giving, than me giving them something. I am so my title is Nana Hima. So Nana, I'm sure you're familiar with the term Nana. Even my husband or my fiance, well, I've heard to him as my husband. My husband, one of his names is Nana. But Hima is the Fanti word for Queen Mother. So, and Anokwale, I legally changed my name years ago, long before I even stepped foot on the continent. My full name is Akuya Anokwale Anase Sinfo, an Akan priest. She doesn't want to be called priestess. You may know her, well, may or may not know. Haki might know her. Dr. I don't think she's a reverend, but Dr. Queen Mother. Some people pronounce it Akua, but the proper pronunciation is Akuya Sinzele. Studied under her, and she's the one who gave me my name. So my name literally a storyteller who tells the truth that was born on Wednesday. So Akuya means was born on Wednesday. That's the day name. Anokwale is my storytelling name, truth. That's my because I was the president of the Grill Circle of Maryland, and a member of the National Association of Black Storytellers. So the word truth is Anokwale. So if you went to Ghana and was speaking to a guy, that is the God word, God, God word for truth. Like the Anokwale. So I don't go by my first name, which is Akuya. I go by Anokwale. And Anansi Simfo is derived from Anansi the spider. So that's what Anansi Simfo means, storyteller. I was a national park ranger on a former slave plantation in Towson, Maryland. A lot of people don't even know that it's there. Hampton National Historic Site, just a mile and a half away from Towson Mall. Also worked at Fort McHenry National Monument and Historic Shrine for 13 years. And what I'm doing, I've been in this library for
while ago, put us at the map.
What did you say?
Anna.
Oh,
no, just okay. You go ahead.
Okay. So what I'm currently working on now, and what I would like to bring to the Teaching Artists Institute, because I've been telling my story because people want to hear my story as far as being a ranger, or the only national park ranger for 13 years of African descent, that had a permanent position in the Baltimore metropolitan area, working on a former slave plantation and moving now just 10 minutes away from the dungeons that they held millions of our African ancestors. So people have been asking me to tell that story, but I want to get back to my storytelling. I'm a trained historian, and the ancestors, they called me to that time in history, during the transatlantic human trade and what we went through once we got here. So I actually would dress up in antebellum period clothing and tell stories of women who actually lived. So right now, what I'm doing research on Anna Murray Douglas, Frederick Douglass's wife of 44 years. So Frederick Douglass would not have been Frederick Douglass without this woman, yet we don't know too much about her. And doing the research, I'm going to really have to extrapolate and go and just channel her spirit or what have you from the things that I know or that I'm reading about her, which isn't that much, and just going within. So I've been in contact with an organization called FREED. I forgot what that acronym stands for, but their association is with the African American Civil War Museum here. So these are women who dress in antebellum period clothing and portray little known women during the Civil War era of African descent. And the reason I do have some antebellum period clothing, but mine is mainly for people who are working class. The pictures I've seen of Anna Murray Douglas, she's dressed in nicer clothing. So I contacted the coordinator of Freed and asked her, does she know anybody who is trying to get, who no longer needs their antebellum clothing? So she's setting that up for me. Either somebody will donate it, or I can get it at, a decent price, because it costs that the clothing's not cheap at all. And she invited me to come watch them next Friday. And she also invited me to join the organization. So I'm looking into that.
Okay. All right. I'm going to move forward because we only have a very limited time with you. Ayanna, if you don't mind, could you ask as a roommate questions that you would like to ask?
Sure. First of all, just want to acknowledge the work that you're doing, Nana. I'm excited, very grateful that you're on alignment with the work that I'm currently doing. I'm actually a part of an organization in Tennessee that I go down twice a year to staff, and we do practically, for the most part, a form of healing called shadow work, but within the context of slavery times and the concept of the Underground Railroad as a paradigm, conceptual piece, and an actual living experience. And so it excites me to know that you are in alignment that way, because that has actually been my prayer or my work as I've continued to staff. I'm committed for the rest of my life to this organization because it's been very helpful in helping me cope and deal with the realities of what we're dealing with as African Americans, regardless of our levels of consciousness. The behaviors and the interactions that we have with one another are very indicative across the board. Again, no education, no money, um, uh, being a barrier to the things that we have picked up and that we continue to kind of carry on. And so I'm excited. So that makes me very happy to know that the ancestors are at work, and that it's no small thing, you know, that you are considering living at Oswego. So I'm just excited. I feel that to say that I'm excited about the work that you're doing, especially as a storyteller as well. That's in my lineage, both directly from my father, but then in my medicine lineage of Sangoma, that is also part of our work is storytelling. But I'm not like official. I'm just like a unofficial storyteller. So I'm very excited. So welcome, welcoming you and your ancestors here to the call, and yeah, opportunity. So again, like I said, I literally just came in this early this morning. I drove to and from South Carolina, so my body is still recalibrating. Some questions did come to me. I guess it's more questions for you of like, have you? When's the last time you have lived with someone? Like, what are your views? So when's the last time you lived with someone outside of like a spouse, you know? And just what are you like your views of community living, and what are your expectations? And well, yeah, I just have that for now.
Okay, a great question. 2022 and 2023, I came back and to work as a seasonal experiential education facilitator in Northwest New Jersey for Princeton Blairstown Center, and that's a mouthful. So I was in the woods, Mother Nature, living where I was working with youth. So the youth would come in. This is like a camp for, but they would come for 2-3 days. A lot of the young people, they were from the 5 boroughs of New York. Also, can you hear me? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Looks like my daughter's trying to call me. Newark, New Jersey. They were coming from Trenton, even some from. So I'm saying all that to say, I had an apartment, but which I shared with both times. I shared with people. So it was one other person each season I would share with. Now, and I don't know why the universe sent me both times, both seasons, women of European descent. One, her pronoun, I guess you would say she was binary.
Non-binary, probably.
Non-binary, because and I'm saying she, even though she said her pronouns was they, but her best friend was a man that we worked with, kept calling her she. So I'm like, okay. And then other person was she was openly gay, which I had no problem with. But apparently had a problem with me. So and that could be for a very I think just me, because I was the oldest person on staff, because that's usually something that younger people would do. Even though somebody next youngest one was 40 and he's not like a little kid. We had adjunct, what they call adjunct facilitators who came in, and one man, he was like 70 years old. He was extremely spry. But in general, I think there are a lot of even going in like prejudices, me, because I was a mature, well, I am a mature woman of African descent. So people are going to just already have some preconceived notions. And I'm saying all that today because my roommates after the first year I came, the one that was non-binary, she moved out, and she was stay somewhere else. So they had a Latina come move in with me, and she was from the Dominican Republic, and she and I got along fabulously, and she was like younger than my daughter. So I think that was their issue. So, um, so no, I just far as what and I'm actually the last roommate, the one I said was openly gay. She smoked. She smoked marijuana, smoked a lot, and came to work high. She was supposed to, but I know that's not allowed here. But even with that, I told her because I could smell it. At first, she thought she was hiding. I said, "Well, you can do it. You can do it. Just just try not to let it come into my space." And I mean, I'm the type of person that doesn't go to bed with dishes in the sink. I'm not OCD, but I do like a clean space, an orderly space. I don't like the trash to overflow. Toilets, especially even if one person, you just clean, especially spaces that like the kitchen and the bathroom. Those are two places that should be. And I'm not the type of person that leaves I come into the house and I leave my jacket on a chair or clothes. You can see a trail of clothes up to the bedroom, that sort of thing. Yeah, that's it with me. And just respecting people's their space and things like food, or we can decide like if you want to share some things, but if you just don't assume that you can eat somebody's food, that sort of thing. And I do like to talk. Like one of the roommate I keep up too, but things as courtesy, like if you're going out of town or going somewhere, you're not going to come back to not saying I'm your mother, but it's two reasons why. Like if I believe, okay, I'm going for the next couple of days. That way, if I hear something in the middle of the night, I not you, and that's not, it's a safety thing. And that's what I was trying to tell the girl that got an attitude or whatever, and she would just leave. My daughter just keeps calling. So just things like that. I mean, you have to tell me your business. I got enough business of my own, but things like letting me know, just like I'll let you know, I'm not coming back tonight, or I'm going out of town. I'll be back on Tuesday.
Okay.
I'm real big on that personally, and so I think one of the important things for me to be transparent about is that I'm in a healing process around trauma, physical violence, particularly physical and emotional violence. And so a part of my journey, what I've learned is very helpful is communication. I actually tend to over communicate sometimes, particularly with those folks who are open and that I know it's healthy to communicate with them. So you won't have to worry about that as far as knowing where I am, and I just think that that should be commonplace when you're shared space. It's almost like family. And so with family, it's like we know each other's whereabouts, and that's like you said, it's for safety reasons, it's for general care reasons. If you care about somebody, it's good to know whereabouts in case of emergency. You might know how to get a hold of somebody or know if something is out of whack. So I appreciate that. I like the idea that you're older. I'm needing to be around elders right now. I'm needing to be around particularly emotionally mature. I'm sorry, I need to be around mature. I'm sorry, my brain is doing a thing.
It's okay.
I need to be around mature, particularly emotionally mature individuals, because that's what's really helping me in my healing process. I am struggling just a little bit in reference to getting that from others, as far as just like clear communication, direct communication, and or what's the word, safe communications. For some reason, I keep bumping up against persons who are not emotionally mature, and so I'm really stretched. And so I'm glad to know and hear from you that you sound like you're more than capable of that. You're very poised, and I'm just very grateful about this opportunity. Do you have any particular practices in the week or in the day, where like, do you have times a day or the week that you would, request or need quiet? I'm pretty quiet for the most part. You might hear me playing either music, or I like to listen to different audio books, or I like to listen to different things on YouTube. That may be probably the most noise you'll get from me. We do have an autistic neighbor on the left side of the home, and so there can be some different sounds coming from there. The neighbors on the right are extremely quiet. I forget that they're even there. They moved in this summer, and that's the only thing I can think about. I'm glad about the dishes piece, because actually how I was trained is actually that it's spiritually hygienic to have no dishes in the sink, or to have a clean kitchen, because that way you don't invite unwanted invisible guests. So I'm glad to know that that is
Oh,
a discovery. Yeah.
hmm.
That's what I was taught. And
Oh,
so yeah, like I said, for me, my only request, again, if there's any kind of issues that you have, I'm very open for direct communication. I'd rather you be direct and not to say anything. I am a bit sensitive these days, so just being mindful of how you speak, or communicate. I'm not usually like that, but like I said, my nervous system is really jacked up, and I'm really,
Mm.
recovering from some deep family stuff, and I'm still processing that stuff. That's actually how I ended up in this living situation, with that where I was living before was not emotionally or mentally healthy, and so I'm still in the recalibration. I am getting support, and I do have a community right now where I'm with other women who are in similar situations. So I'm grateful for that. And so I just really ask for your patience with me. Anytime you need or want something, I'm an air sign, I'm a Libra, so I'm very communicative. I love to connect, and I love to hear, and I love to talk. And um yeah, I'm excited. I don't know if you have any questions for me.
do
Um,
you do your laundry downstairs, or you take it to a laundromat?
So I actually just started doing laundry downstairs. So there is a washer. I think the what is it called? The hosing needs to be looked at, because I noticed the last time that I've been doing the wash that it leaks a bit. So I think it's just a matter of getting the hosing proper down there. My brother actually gifted me a tiny dryer that I dry my things in increments. But yeah, I just started doing my laundry at the location there.
Let me ask a couple of questions to shoot them out real quick, because we only have about 10 minutes or so.
Okay.
Um, and then you can answer them at your will. What do you think are some of your strengths? Are you a go-getter or a procrastinator? Are you a morning person or a night owl? And what is your biggest pet peeve?
Far as I'm not, I'm a go-getter, but I'm not type A. I'm not type
Mm-hmm.
A, and
Mm-hmm.
yogi actually, and I've adopt, adopted that. What Going to Ghana, leaving the toxicity of here and working for the Park Service, and all the discrimination I went through for those 13 years, and telling our stories unapologetically, and then going to Ghana and being called white and not being accepted there either.
Mm-hmm.
And came back in 2022 to work with Mother Nature with those youth. That was at peace I'd ever been in my life. And I'd already started meditating prior to coming back in 2022. So right now, I'm at this space in my life where I'm on a mission. I don't believe in retirement. No matter what age I am, I'm going to be doing some type of work. Because retire equals expire. So I want to, when I leave this realm of existence, I want to leave empty, as saying everything I came to do, and want to be sung at my celebration of life. I Did It My Way by Frank Sinatra. And
All right.
I know I've done things, and I continue to do things that some people don't agree with, and it's a bit unconventional. But I'm living my truth, and I've been miserable for too long, and I'm not going to go to that space anymore. What was the second question you asked?
What are some of your strengths? What is your biggest pet peeve? I got a million questions.
Okay. My biggest strength is my heart for empathy. I get along with everyone in a sense that, I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, I love everybody, but I love my people the most, but I love everybody. And I'm able to, I have the gift of listening, like truly listening and putting myself in that person's place. I'm not an empath. I'm not because I deliberately, shield, but I can feel it, and whatever I can do, even if it's just listening to somebody. And I will even tell, like, when people come to me and they're unloading or what have you, it depends on how many times or whatever. I'll listen and say, well, what are you just wanting to unload? You are wanting to vent, or do you actually want me to give you advice? I give people, because people you tell them something and they're just automatically telling you what to do. So most of them know what to do. You just need somebody to talk to.
Be a sounding board, yes.
So that's a gift I have, just being able to relate to people on all different levels and be empathetic. But pet peeve, just the first thing that came to my mind, and I thought I heard the word full disclosure, transparency. Just say it. I mean, I'd rather you tell me something, tell me the truth. I might not like it, but it hurts more if you've been telling me something you thought I want to hear, and basically lying or whatever. Then I find out the truth, and feelings have developed and all that kind of stuff. So that's a pet peeve, when people try to tell you things that they think you want to hear. Instead of explaining it. But I'm not saying, and it's something you said, Ayanna. It's also the way you say things to people. I have been told, well, I can't believe you said that way. I'll do that, and I tell people I know what I'm saying when I'm saying it. I mean, I know how to be diplomatic, but I also will say things like, not in a mean spirited way, but say things, if you have not heard what I was saying, I'll say it in a way to get your attention. And then we can unpack that.
You mentioned you had children. All your kids grown?
Oh yeah, very grown. That's why I made my daughter and my son is 33.
And so leaving Ghana, what was the main reason you came back here? Was it to work?
Yes.
Or other things included?
The reason why I'm staying more stateside now than going back is to work. I need capital, because they gave me acres of land when they installed me as a queen mother. I need to build on that land. Also, I have a gym there, so that needs to be funded as well, because right now we're renting, so we need to build an actual building for the gym. And It's like in my village, it's things that I want to put in or help put in place to help people become self-sustainable, and as well as myself, because eventually I will go back. But my is to have dual residence. So even though I bleed red, black, and green, I mean I'm more African than a lot of Africans are. But when I to Ghana, I've learned how American I am. So I'm both. I'm both. And I'm in all honesty, I did miss being here.
Ayanna, I heard you say a little bit about the neighbors on either side, but what do you feel about the community? Because part of TAI is involving yourself with the larger community and making a positive difference within the community. So could you speak just very briefly, because we only have a few minutes, about the community? And then Nana, what's your biscuit? What biscuit do you bring to the table in terms of the community?
Sure. Before I answered that, I think I remember one of your questions, Mama Ade, was what day will you say, what time of day person are you? Like,
yes, are you a morning? Yes, or a night owl?
Yeah, I'm a morning person.
Okay.
So I'm not a morning person. I'm actually a night person, and at the moment I'm working late night. I have a nighttime side hustle that I was fortunate to pick up so that I can catch up on everything I need to catch up on. And forgot what was in, so the neighborhood. So it's interesting, to be very honest. When I first moved into the neighborhood, it was very much culture shock, as I am what they call in Baltimore a county girl. I grew up in the county, and Oswego Ave, actually, it's funny. I didn't know, because I was very, what's the word? Just unbeknownst, I'm not really familiar with the city as much. I mean, I did Uber and Lyft. That was probably like my little introduction. But when I share with people where I live, they're like, whoa. But what's interesting about the area of Park Heights, like a lot of parts in Baltimore, you have one side this way and the other side, that way. So like, Sinai Hospital's right there. You got so the history of that area, I would say, is that there's a lot in general, like as far as the style of family homes. The houses are older, and I think it's like more south of the block, actually, not our block, but the block next, like down the street towards the hill part of Greenspring. I think those homes are mainly like elderly folks and or just families that have been here for a while. Our block that we live on actually is in transition. So as I shared, we have white neighbors on the right that just moved in. Uh, what was that? In the summertime, they're pretty friendly. They have a dog on that side, and then there's the autistic man on the left, and there's another woman who's very friendly on the left of him. I believe the following house just went up for sale. So a lot of these houses I've noticed in this area are being renovated. They're being bought, I think, mainly by Hispanics and Africans. And so the thing I like about Oswego, even like I said last year, was very challenging for me, because that area, to be honest, is known for violence. And I did hear my first gunshot last year. I haven't heard any since in the year's time, so I think something hasn't is shifting. But historically, it's known that that area is lit. Um, there is a church, interestingly enough, that is run by a pastor that still lives across the street from my parents and me for the last 40 years in the county. That's Reverend Hubert's church. I haven't been there yet.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been to church before. Yes.
Oh, okay. So yeah, he's been my neighbor for like as long as I lived in that area of Windsor Mill, which I thought was interesting. So I know it, again, it's all designed by the ancestors and God for me to be in this place. There's a lot of families. And in the diverse families, you got Hispanic, Black, and I've seen sprinkles of white folks. For the most part, people are friendly. Definitely got to keep your doors, your car doors and all that locked. I do think whatever crime is going on, to be honest, it's the young people. It's just like most of Baltimore. It's the young people, they don't have enough going on. So, they'll try to get into whatever they can get into. But for the most part, yeah, I feel, and in the back, there's been, so I could say since I've been there, I've watched the progression, and that's been one of the pleasant things since I've been there, is watching the progression of the neighborhood happen in real time, watching the transformation in real time. I think what Kim has envisioned for TAI Air, that specific mission to be of service for the community, I think like I said, we're in transition right now because the community is transitioning. People are moving out. Like I said, it depends on the areas of the blocks. Like the block we live in is a little bit more transitory. And so I've just been in observation. I'm friendly. I speak when either when spoken to. Sometimes I, what's the word? Initiate, speaking. But it's definitely different from what I'm used to. And I have to be reminded that I am living in a city and I am living in an area that, there's a lot going on. So that's just been a culture shift for me.
Real quick, because it's almost 10 minutes to 8. Nana, what is your biscuit that you bring to the table?
Well, I'm a certified yoga instructor. What I envision myself doing, like far as community-wise, because Druid Hill Park is not that far away. So actually opening, and mimicking or duplicating what I was doing for in Northwest New Jersey, come out and commune with Mother Nature. And I was just pleasantly surprised. Okay, they tell me to go. I was pleasantly surprised that these young people that I only knew for, like, when they get off the bus, I said, let's go ahead and let's walk in Mother Nature. And then just humor the old lady. Let's sit and I would lead the meditation. And just, they may have been some of them may have been like, oh, what is she doing? But at the end, they were like raving about it. And I've had stories which I can tell a transformation just in a matter of minutes, but we don't have time right now. So that just, go out and just sit and maybe do a little walk, hike, and just sit still and lead pranayamas, which is the breathing techniques, and a meditation, and it has nothing to do with religion. That's what I tell people. This is meditation, and the science backs it up. It just be 5 minutes, relax your muscles, and in an hour you start connecting with people, and it lowers your heart rate and your blood pressure and all that. So that's one thing. And also, of course, the storytelling, especially the type of storytelling I do, that's teaching us about our history.
Okay, I know we have to wrap it all up. I still have like a gazillion questions because, like I said, I like to hear from folks and hear what you're doing and where you're going. And feel free to ask me any questions. One of my titles is Nani Alode, which means I speak for the women in the world. I have a bunch of titles, but I would love to have another conversation at another time. But thank you both. Thank you all for your time and investing in this exercise. We appreciate you. You can get my number from Kim. Call me anytime. Call me anytime.
Part 2, we can schedule that too.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay. So thank y'all for y'all time, and we shall we'll communicate soon. All right. Y'all have a good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening. Appreciate you all. Thanks, Ayanna. All right. Thanks, Anokwale. All right, Nana. All right.